Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. Thank you, Bill the Heel, Patreon, $5 a month. Appreciate you. We're going to talk about Death Must Die, Black Mesa, Lethal Company, and some other stuff. But first, my name is Christian.
My name's Nick.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm looking forward to 4 days off next week because I've been working like a fucking dog, dude.
Well, you know what sucks is they get to spend those 4 days with me and my mom.
No,
Oh, wait, no,
I'm not going for
that's in
Thanksgiving.
December.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
December. That's going to be more like a punishment. Yeah, you're right. But
What are you
this
doing?
one, what?
What are you doing these 4 days?
Oh, it's Thanksgiving, but most of the
Okay.
time, yeah, gaming, hanging out with the kids. I think it's time to find a good game for me, Sam, and Mila. Like a board game. We've been playing Super Mario Wonder, and that was a huge hit. Thanks for
I was about
the
to say, how did that go on?
yeah. We played it for a little while, but it was great. And then she took it to her other dad's house, and they played it all weekend basically. And so yeah,
What a fucking
she came back.
betrayer, dude.
She's like, I'm on Bowser already, but it's all good because Nick. So maybe you can. So there's the Wonder Seeds, but then there's also like a Wonder Plant. You said
Wonder flowers.
Wonder
the big ones that
Flowers.
after every like stage or zone, you get a wonder flower. Also,
Okay.
there's a secret area that me and Leslie found out, and it is hard as fuck.
That's good.
So
That's
you,
good that
you
there's
remember,
adult stuff in there.
you remember the star place in the original Super Mario World where you can like teleport and stuff? Like it's
No.
like a okay, so essentially there's like a secret area in the original Super Mario World where if you fly off screen in certain stages, you can go to the Star World and it's like a real place and you can essentially skip the whole game. You can go to Bowser's Castle from there if you beat certain levels in certain ways. It's not a glitch, it's not a bug, it's like part of the game. However, in the new one, there is no star levels anymore. It's now the flower level, and so it's the same exact layout as the old star level, but it's flowers. Everything's flowers themed because it's a Super Mario Wonder, and you're not in the Mushroom Kingdom; you're in the Flower Kingdom.
It's the
So
quickest
Either
we've
way.
ever gotten to video games on the intro, guys. Like, congrats. Thank you.
we went from family to to video games. What do you know?
I can never remember, dude. So you have your own Thanksgiving up there in Canada, or you have the same Thanksgiving, or you don't?
Different.
Don't
It's a
have
different Thanksgiving. They have one.
Different. Last month. It's well spaced out. The holiday is well spaced out. What do you guys do when you go to Christmas? You've already seen these people so recently. Or do you use it as an excuse to like visit one side of the family?
That's
Yeah,
what
I think
happens.
that's what most people end up doing.
90% of Americans, that's what they do if they're married or like in a relationship. One person goes like for example, my mom. I was like, hey, what holiday do you want? Christmas or Thanksgiving? And I haven't spent a Christmas with them in like 6 years. So she's like, please God, Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So
Yeah. For Thanksgiving, you decide to argue with her family, and then for Christmas, you argue with your family. So
it's a lot of
spread the love.
arguing. Yeah, I think I wonder
Bobby
if
doesn't
divorce
understand
rates-
holidays, nor there's just
nor
nothing,
love.
nothing coming out. Or love. Oh, Bobby's like hate them
Kind of
both.
robot love. I hate them both.
How do you see these holidays going for you, Bobby?
Same as they always do. I mean, it's always a mix and match trying to figure out what we're going to do with who because I've got, because of my girlfriend's family and my family, but also because my family's so big that sometimes they do like separate things. So yeah, it's tough to navigate and it's always kind of stressful, but
Have your families met, Bobby?
um not her dad. My parents have met. I think my mom has met her mom, but I think that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. What are we doing, Chris? What's the
On the
next part
radar.
of this thing that we do?
I guess we have to talk about the games that have caught our attention but that we haven't played. And Orten was the case for Bobby. What's up?
So this is a game that looked mildly interesting. I'll be honest, it was a slow week. I didn't really come across any games that looked that great. I looked around on the Steam page, and this was probably the best I could come up with. This is a 2D puzzle adventure game, kind of a 2.5D. There is that Z layer or that Z axis, but it's got a time loop mechanic. And the only other game that comes to mind that had a time loop mechanic I know there was a few of them, but the only one that I've played before was the Sexy Brutale, which I thought was pretty interesting. It was a really good concept because you have in that game you had this big lavish party playing out, and you would walk around and see different things that would happen and try to piece together this mystery. Um, it was kind of like this. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Sleep No More, but it was this really popular interactive theater they were doing in New York for a long time. But it's kind of the same thing. Instead of just sitting in a seat and watching a play, you actually walk around and you see the actors like in their habitat doing things, and you split up as a group, and you all see different things. And then after the show, you talk about it and you kind of figure out what the story was or what was happening. I don't know. Interesting concept. But Orten was the case. It has a time loop where you play a character solving mysteries, trying to figure out why the world is being destroyed. And what grabbed me right away was the artistic design. So it's hand painted,
I like it.
and yeah, it's got a
Very pretty.
it's very unique. Like you haven't. I kind of thought about this. It's very obvious, but it kind of occurred to me when I was looking at this game. It occurred to me how similar a lot of other games look. Like we could pretty much grab any game and say, oh, it looks like this game or that game, and right away you know what you're talking about. But this one, it's really hard to describe just because it has such a unique look. It looks like a what was that film festival they used to do, like a Spike and Mike film festival? It's got some
Yeah.
like really weird. It's like adult animation. Uh, yeah, it looks cool.
It
And I
looks
guess
a-
it is.
It looks like a modern version of what Monty Python used to do in the like when the God came out in the clouds and the trumpet players. I don't know what you call that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Like
I
paper
know what you're talking about.
mache-mation or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it looks like
Yeah.
a modern time version of that. Anyways,
Yeah, they had that
Or-
really choppy animation like South Park.
or the Yellow Submarine. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
kind of like that.
What are the chances you
Yeah.
pick this up, Bobby?
I don't know, not super high. It's coming out November 28th, right around the corner. I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what price it is. We'll see what the reviews are. It's just honestly, I don't play a lot of adventure games anymore, like point and clicks or otherwise. I don't know. I never finish them. And if you don't finish them, they aren't that enjoyable. You know, it kind of defeats the purpose because a big part of the game is the story.
I still have guard duty on 40%. I know that feeling.
This is going to
Yeah.
be $19.99, but it should have been $14.99. That's where. Oh, let's play our game.
Let's play the game.
Yeah,
Oh,
we have a game.
Play the
Okay.
game.
Okay, it will release at $19.99.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah, and
Are
come
we-
on, guys, let's play correctly. You got $3 difference at least between prices.
It doesn't leave much
Uh,
room.
Yeah, I was about to say, Bobby, you go.
Does that include a sale?
Yeah, I'll go with that. It's fine.
Okay. So if it's on sale, then who's ever closest to the retail price wins, or the sale price is what I'm asking.
The sale price.
The
Okay.
release price. Let's say that. Because if it's on sale, then it's technically the release price. Right?
Yeah, but I'm saying if the game comes out and it's 20% off, then
Yeah,
if
that's
I
the
guess-
release price, like what Nick's saying. Yeah, whatever it is
Okay.
on release is what we're talking about, including the sale.
All right, I'm going to say $16.99.
That
I'm gonna
means that
go-
pretty much means Nick has to take the high road.
I'm gonna go $9.99.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
I think
I
we're
would
gonna
go
see a $15 game
$12.99.
go on sale. Okay.
All right, let's see.
Should be like 35.
Can we put like a reminder, or did somebody put this on their wish list or follow?
It's in the show notes. We'll get to it next week.
We'll see.
See who wins here. Who won last time? I believe it was it Nick? And we have to trust. Yeah,
Yeah.
because now we have to trust everything Nick says.
Yeah. No, I
Alright.
guessed it on the dot. It was pretty good.
I have to talk about yet another zombie survivors.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. So what I like snarky. I like, when people take little weird, abstract or just kind of crazy titles or fuck with the with the norm. You don't want to see the same shit. But when you say yet another zombie survivors, doesn't it seem like you're talking your own game down?
Pretty much, yeah. At
You're
that
being
point,
cheeky. You're being cheeky, maybe in a fun way.
Yeah, you're being cheeky, but also you're being self-deprecating when you have to make sales. I don't know. Whatever. I hope it works out for them. I first of all, I would have bought this already had I not already bought one, Zombie Survival this week, which I will talk about later in highlights. But basically, it's a modern times zombie survival game, and their little tweak to it is that there's multiple characters. You can play them individually and level up their skill trees however you want. But then as you're playing, you will find other survivors and they join your little cluster of characters, up to 3 characters. And when you find these other characters, there are other characters that you can pick and as your leader, as your single player character. So if you pick up the samurai guy, or not samurai guy, but the katana guy, he will have the unlocks that you've picked for him in when you made him your main. Does that make sense?
I'm
So
kind
you
of
play.
lost, but I think I
I'm
I
a
have
little,
a general
a little
idea.
jumbled.
Okay, let me try one more time. You can play as
Get out the
different.
whiteboard.
You can play as
You
different.
have 4 cups. You have 4
It's
cups.
crazy.
Pepe Sylvia.
Here's the crazy hot scale. So there's different characters. You can play as your main. They have skill trees. As you're playing with any one of these, you can find the other characters that play as NPCs when you play the regular game. But they will have the unlocks that you've unlocked with them when you played that character as your main.
Got it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah. So when you add these guys to your little crew, they will already be customized for your style of gameplay. And what all of this breeds is a lot of synergies. That's what you're trying to build. So there's 6 characters. You can make whatever little team you want, because when you find one, it's not whoever you find, it's whoever you select. So you can have, the medic, an engineer, and katana guy, or soldier guy, tank, whatever you think is going to be best, and work on the best synergy you can. And that right there, I think, is enough to differentiate itself from the pack. I have played one other one that had multiple characters. It was a little cartoony one, but you had to rotate your characters. So you had like sword guys and arrow guys, and you had to constantly rotate your team in order to attack or defend appropriately. And it was too much. Like, it was a lot. You're running from everybody, you're shooting everybody, and you're trying to rotate your pack to make sure that you're optimally like face. This one, it seems like they're attacking on their own. So I don't know. I like the look of it.
On
What's
Vampire
that?
Survivor likes at this point? Like,
No, dude, no.
You and how many other people have played this many of these types of games? Got to be like 100, 200 other people.
Well, I would say that, but these games usually do really well. Like
Right.
5,000 people have played this game, and a lot of that has to do with their low price. This is $8, which is really high end for a vampire survival game. It's funny because the other one that I bought earlier today was like $6.29 or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cheap! I gotta buy it." And then I saw this $8. I was like, "Oh, what is this, Mr.
It's
Fancy
out of
Pants?
This world.
It's out of this world. I'm gonna have to sell my daughter." Yeah, I'm staying away from it for now because I have one. That itch is being scratched. Also, just a really quick side note, Soulstone Survivors is having their 1-year anniversary of early access, and they had a huge update. I don't know if it's big enough for me to come back, but yeah, because I have another one that I'm playing. But no, I don't play that much.
At some point, we need whatever this fucking genre is called.
Vampire Survival.
Vampire
We've
Survivor,
coined it.
like
No.
just Vampire Survivor.
A VSL.
Survivor.
VSL.
Vampire.
Come on, VSL.
VSL is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Okay, we need a VSL tier list, and we need like S, A, B, D, and The Expanse, a Telltale series. Amanda talked about this a long time ago. By the way, Amanda might be coming back sooner than later, folks. You know, from what I hear down the grapevine. Can I get a yippee something? Yippee yay? Yip yip yip.
How have you heard this and I have
Yippee-ki-yay.
not heard this? This is
He told you, dude. The
We've seen it
grapevine.
in chat, you dum dum.
wow. I didn't see it.
Yep, it might happen. Not 100%, but if you're listening out there, be excited. She talked about this a while ago, so I'm just going to run through these points really quickly. They're all personalized because this game comes out in 13 hours or 12 hours. By the time its episode airs, you'll be able to buy it. And I would love to play this next week. Definitely been wanting for a while. I'm a big fan of The Expanse, but I've never played a Telltale game, ever. Not one. You guys have all played these types of games before, right?
Yeah, I played the Walking Dead one.
I've played probably 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played
They're
a
known for their
bunch of
quality.
them.
A bunch of them, yeah.
I mean, they were
Some of
really
them.
popular. So I'm surprised you've never played one of these because this was all the rage in 2012 when that Walking Dead game came
He
out.
was 3 in 2012.
Okay. I mean, it was a huge game. It was they had been making these games before that, but this one was probably their best one just from a design standpoint, but also just they were striking when the iron was super hot. I mean, 2012 Walking Dead zombies, it just everybody loved it. But yeah, and then like they kept releasing, they made a Telltale game for like everything, and some of them were good, some of them weren't that great, and then eventually, I think around 2016, everyone was just like, you know, we've had enough of this or something. But yeah, the Wolf Among Us was really good. I played the first episode of the Borderlands one. I did not like the Game of Thrones one. The Jurassic Park one that they made before Walking Dead was pretty bad. Yeah, they're hit and miss.
Hit and
Their
miss.
last big one, I think. Well, not their last big one, but the Batman one was supposed to be like a co-op multiplayer one, or like
Oh,
collaborative decision making, or something like that. It had
and
like
you
a
played
new
it,
spin
or
on it. I did not. No,
play
I
that
was kind of
one?
over it by then.
I didn't read too. Well, maybe I should have done a little bit more research as co-op, but that didn't jump out at me. What did jump out at me is they got the same actress as in the Expanse television show. Is Kamina Drummer is returning as the main character in this, and she's such a badass in the books, and I love how the actress portrayed her in the show. So I'm pretty excited. Like based on that alone, I think if they're going to that lengths to get that person to fill that role, I would hope that they would the rest of the game faithfully as well. You know, if they're going through all that effort, why half-ass it? So I'm excited. Yeah. Also, the makers of The Expanse signed my friend's book when he was a background actor. He
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. So I'm forever a fan. And I said I sent him a mail. Just he has a Gmail, a public Gmail. I said, "Hey, my friend is on set right now. If you're there, I'm going to send a book over. Can you deliver it to him?" And he said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
Hey, Chris, what came first? Did you read the books or watch the show first?
I watched the show. I watched the first season first, and I was like, "This is really good." And then I read all the books, or I caught up on the rest because I was like, I don't want the show to shape how I see the books anymore. I want the books to shape the show.
It's funny because I maybe I have to watch it all together, like binge it, because I watched The Expanse over like 3 years, the first season, and you know, every episode you're like, what the fuck's going on? You know,
Right. In like
I thought the
minutes,
world
I
building
did.
was fantastic, fantastic. Some of the best, like sci-fi world building since, you know, a long time. It was
It was supposed
really
to be
well.
an MMO, dude. It was a world supposed to be made for an MMO game, and then that project got canceled. Fighter for it, and he had this huge world on the shelf. The OPA, the Martian Alliance, and the Earth was supposed to be like the Alliance and the Horde, and a third faction for this MMO that got shelved. And before that, it came from a tabletop game. I don't know. It's just like this thing has gone through so many iterations of things it was supposed to be or was, and now it's this. I don't know.
Full
It's just
circle.
cool.
It's come back to
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it for the Telltale series. Nicholas.
Boy, howdy. I'll tell you what, we got one of them MMORPGs right here. No. So you guys already know about World of Warcraft hardcore. I'll talk about that later. But BlizzCon just happened, and they actually announced another form of Classic, which people are more excited for than they were for hardcore. It's called World of Warcraft Classic Discovery. And you're like, why do I want to play this, even though it's like a fucking super old game? Well, it's essentially Classic Plus. There's a lot of people, even new players, that like Classic more than Modern WoW. Modern WoW, you're just like hitting numbers in the millions to do damage and shit, and like hundreds of thousands, and like the systems to get along and to work are just so intense, and there's so many choices that people like Classic because it's just a more cut and dry game. It also requires more skill for PvP. They actually just had, like 2 weeks ago, they had a $50,000 tournament for Classic Hardcore. And
Do you know who won? Was it a fucking paladin?
No, it was a warlock. Warlock is the best classic PvP class. However, so World of Warcraft Discovery, all my friends are more excited for this than they were hardcore, even though we're all playing hardcore right now. But so by the way, Sniper, the video is going to go when I actually play a hardcore. I mean, when I talk about hardcore. So something that's interesting is they're not adding any new classes, which is cool. So the game is running in the classic engine and has all the classic classes and races and everything. No, like side is getting a class or another race, but classes are getting new jobs. So for example, a rogue can be a tank, or a shaman can be a tank. And that's not to just say what can be a tank and what can't be a tank, even though a warlock can be a tank, which would never be the case, right? But they're adding new abilities and they're changing things so that these new ways to play are available to everybody. And of course, hunter is still just DPS. They don't have anything else. What is also interesting is that they're doing kind of like a seasons thing, so it's going to take a long time to level up. And the level cap for the first age of discovery is 25. And what's cool though is that once you get to level 25, there are raids at level 25, like 10 man, 20 man, 30 man, and 40 man raids. And for example, Scarlet Monastery is just a dungeon, right? In normal WoW, it's just a dungeon. There's 3 or 4 sections of Scarlet Monastery. And there's like 2 to 6 bosses per section. Well, what they're doing in Discovery is they're putting into one big raid, and they're changing how the map works. They're changing the inside of the dungeon, but it's all still using the classic engine. There's going to be completely new gear in the game as well. There's new quests and characters. And lastly, there's this thing called runes, which kind of even changed the game even more. I think that's the thing so not everything has been announced for Classic Discovery. It releases the 30th of this month, which is cool. So
it's going to be separate from Classic, or this is like a new page of Classic?
This is a new page of Classic. So everybody has been asking for Classic Plus, right? Because Classic WoW actually is extremely popular. And so people are like,
I wonder if more people are playing that than Modern. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna say Modern because of like the fact that there's, I guess, so much more to do, and they're like actually adding expansions and classes. To be honest, I think I don't like Modern anymore, only because there's just so much shit, dude. Like every day, like you have to play it like a job. Like, oh, I got to do all my dailies. I got to do all my races and my world events and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Classic is just like, okay, I got all my gear, I got all my potions, like I can go raid with the boys and stuff like that. Like it's not like a chore to play the game, essentially.
By the way, Nick, I object to what you said earlier and this whole chart here. I have tanked with my hunter at a certain time, different. I think they changed it later on, but different animals had different aspects that they had.
Yes.
And I
So
used to
that's
have a
still in the
turtle.
game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to have a turtle, and he was very tanky, and he could pull aggro. Not
What
very
was its
good.
name? What was its name?
Turtle, Tanky the turtle. What do you mean?
Thank you, the turtle. Nice.
Yeah.
So what's funny is they still have that, and you still can do that in the later levels, but in the higher levels you can't do that at all. Like because your DPS is pulling so much threat that the turtle can't maintain it.
No, for sure.
Other than that, I mean, I'm going to be playing this. I'm still playing hardcore because I'll talk about the reason why later. But I'll definitely be playing Classic Discovery just to see all the new shit. Apparently, once you do get to level 25 and you do all the raids, like you can kind of just stop, right? Like you can just wait till the next part comes out and then you can keep playing. But yeah, that's World of Warcraft Classic Discovery.
Why do I have one you?
Go ahead.
If it's called Discovery, do the players action world along? Like if enough players get to level 25, will they release the next like update?
So they haven't said that clearly, right? But the rumor is, right, and like things that some people who have talked about
Grapevine.
leaks and been correct about leaks and stuff like that, like WoW Classic Plus has been talked about for like the past 3 months, and lo and behold, they release Warcraft Classic Discovery. Like they're talking about things that are probably going to happen, but just not by name. And I think a lot of people think that you're right, right? Once enough people get to level 25, they're going to add more shit. If more stuff becomes more dynamic, like in the sense where like there's way too many shamans, they're going to add something in the game that's going to like make shamans weaker or whatever. But they're also going to just they have to modify the existing parts of WoW Classic that it probably will take a little bit of time. Eventually they're going to get 260 and they're going to be adding new raids all the time and like new things to do. And so that's why that's the biggest complaint about Classic. Once you beat Kel'Thuzad, you're done with the game. Like you've beaten the game. There's no heroic Kel'Thuzad. It's just the last raid in the game. So I think Classic Discovery is going to be a version of Classic that is just constantly getting updated, constantly getting changed. And like like you can see in the link that I clicked already, there's going to be 5 or 4 phases. So level 25, level 40, level 50, and level 60. The time it takes to get to level 50 to 60 is I think 3 days of playtime. Like it is super long. And so 1 to 25 is not long at all. Like I'm level 17 right now, and I probably put in like 5 or 6 hours.
Oh.
But 50 to 60 is a while.
Remind me, do you have to buy WoW Classic, or how's this work? Is it $20?
As long as you have a current WoW subscription, like you can just have you don't even have to own the newest version of WoW. You don't have to buy the latest expansion. You just have to have an active WoW subscription, whatever that.
Which is what, $15 a month now?
$15 a month, or you can get it down to I think $10 a month if you buy a whole year. But yeah, this will be coming out November 30th. It's normal WoW price. There's no additional cost for it. You don't pay like $30 for a new expansion. You just get it.
And here's a cautionary tale for all of those people out there. I used to play this a lot, and Nick was a little kid, and he didn't know what he was doing, and he would bother me every day, and he wanted to play. And I would turn him down or make up fucking excuses to not hang out with him. And now I'm thinking about joining his crew, and maybe he's going to turn me down. So,
no, we have plenty of old gamers. We have a guy who's 61. Calm down. His name's Dan. He plays too much art.
But there is a chance, Nick. Come on, there is a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance.
Okay.
Nobody with a name that starts with E can be in the guild. It's just a rule. We wrote it. You want to intro the next segment?
Games we have been playing. Emilio, you've been playing a game. You've been playing a couple games.
I've been playing a couple games. Death Must Die is the other vampire survival game that I was alluding to earlier. So it's funny. This might be the first time I ever, maybe it's happened a couple other times, but like Google knows me. So every time I open up Google, I'm getting like stuff that I want in my face. And the headline is like, this game takes vampire survivors and it takes Hades and it takes Diablo and I'm like,
What the fuck?
okay, whatever, dude. Like they all do that,
You're
you know, trying to
promising too
sell
much.
things. And then I was like, oh, let me do a little clicky poo here. And I click on it. I was like, oh, that's exactly what's in the headline. And then I go home and I buy it for $6.29. And yeah, it's pretty much exactly what was in the headline. So it looks like Diablo 2, I think, something like that, which is good. I mean, the graphics are good for a vampire survival game. Definitely a lot better than Vampire Survivors. When every time you level up, there are gods that give you boons, much like Hades, and they're voice acted just like Hades. But this is definitely the $6.29 version of Hades. You know, like you could tell
It's the Ross version of Hades.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want to shit on them because you know it's a tiny little developer with a tiny little price. So for the price, you're getting a lot. I think. So you have these multiple characters, and when they talk, they have personalities. Like the way they interact with each other and what's going on in the world. They're speaking as if the way people would speak. I feel like, you know, which I find refreshing and nice. When I say Diablo-esque inventory, you know, you have the headpiece, the chest piece, same thing, just kind of like Diablo 1 and 2. And so let's see. The characters, you know, the first one's like a knight, and the second one's like a sorceress, and the third one's like a rogue. And you can auto attack like you do in all other vampire survivals, or you can, or what is it? VSL? VSL?
VSL.
Yep.
So
Just like other VSLs, they auto attack, right? So you can toggle that on or off, and you would think that one or other is the better, but I think that the combination is the better, because if you're auto attacking all the time, it slows you down. So if you got to scoot, you turn it off and you move. And then also sometimes when you have a, because the auto attack only attacks the closest thing to you. If you want to be have some agency in your attacks, like you're trying to take down a certain troublemaker, obviously you want to auto aim those, or I mean aim yourself. So there is definitely some finagling to it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it. It's in early access. It's, like I said before, like I've said 3 times, it's $6.29. But yeah, I'm enjoying everything about it. Actually, the music is kind of like an 80s synthy action movie, which is cool with me. I'm digging pretty much everything about this game. I want to play it more and more. So having a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, more Warcraft with Nick. I'm starting.
All right,
Nicholas,
time for
I'm
me.
starting the video. If that's okay.
All right. So I'm gonna start off this with a story of me almost dying. All right. This is the hardest my heart has pumped ever playing a video game, arguably since doing the hardest fucking quest in Escape from Tarkov. So in the video, right, I'm you see me attacking some harpies, and the issue is that I don't realize, because I haven't been here in fucking years, is that some of the harpies spawn above you, and I have a limited amount of health. I have a limited amount of mana. I'm super low level, and this quest is one of the most dangerous areas in the beginning of the game. And so there's like a heat map where people die. This is one of the red zones, like almost even black. Like there's so many people that die here.
Oh god, I just got to the
I
point where you
get-
didn't get your heal in, dude. It got canceled. What the fuck?
Dude, I got down to 3%, right? And what eventually happens is I turn around to heal and I see 2 of the harpies that I just killed respawn. And I'm like, oh no, dude. And mind you, I've already put in like 2.5 hours into this character. So I'm just like, no. And this is the most tight butthole experience of all of WoW that I've ever had. Like I've beaten the game multiple times. Like I've done so many raids. I've had so many like high intense moments. But at like level 11, I'm over here like about to throw my mouse against the wall.
Real stakes, and real feelings.
Stakes, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, classic hardcore is, man, it is a different world as far as what you have to do to stay alive. There's so many things that you would normally do, like if you were a shaman and you had chain lightning, or you had like your fire nova totem, all these different things that you just maybe pull like 4 mobs and then kill them all at once. No, you don't want to take that off chance that something dodges your ability and then you fucking die. Like I'm carrying potions that I would never use before. Like I'm using stamina potions. I'm using like every little bit of armor that you get fucking matters. Every enchantment matters. Like normally you wouldn't get your gear enchanted at level 10. It's not a normal thing. Usually you just save your money and
Right.
get your
But
gear
here you
enchanted at
have
level
to.
60.
Yeah.
Here you have to. It's not like the game's harder. It's not like the enemies have more health or do more damage. You just
The
want
risks
that
are
extra
higher.
padding. Like
Yeah.
I was fighting a hyena at one point, and
One hyena, guys.
one hyena, dude, and I just got done fighting essentially a cassowary. And at this point, like I have 50% health, and I have like 40% mana. I'm like, oh, I can kill this hyena. It's like a level lower than me. This thing crits me twice in a row, and I missed 2 attacks in a row. I'm like, all right, fuck, I got to use a potion, and so I heal myself as well. But still, like, if I didn't have a potion, or I didn't have a mana potion, or like I didn't have a heal like some other classes do, I would have been fucked. Like you can't run away. Like the hyena runs faster than you, and that would have been boom, level 15. I would have been dead. I would have been gone. Like, and so, it's an amazing experience. Even if you just do it once, like I think it's so fun. Even if you like, my goal is to get to level 40, not to level 60, level 40, dude.
Yeah.
People are running dungeons like 2 or 3 levels above the dungeon. Like if the
Right.
required level to get in the dungeon is level 16, people are coming at 18, 19, 20.
Jeez.
What's also
It's
interesting is
awesome,
that
dude.
that
Like it
You know-
breathes life into the game, right? Real stakes.
yeah,
I hate to keep beating this bush and being the old guy, but you're explaining EverQuest. That's what you're talking about.
EverQuest.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
EverQuest.
Exactly.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
with this guy with his cane coming out, he can't stop talking about EverQuest.
Comes out with his wheelchair and his
You-
bell. He's like, ding, 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 ding,
If
EverQuest.
there's no penalty for fucking dying, god damn. I
Yeah.
wish I could just I wish I had a timeline, because people try to get me into WoW 3 times. It took me 3 times to get addicted. The first 2 times I was like, there's no penalty for death. That means that a bunch of how would you say it?
Unskilled.
Not you sure unskilled, but
Undevoted.
undeserving people will be at the top level, and that's exactly what happened. If you just put in the time, you're going to get to level 60, and you're going to be bugging all the other level 60s to raid with you, and it's just like you're not worthy, and you're not going to be able to do the high end content. And also, you don't, there's who cares? You just, like you said, you'll pull down your totem 4 at a time. Fuck it. If I die, I die. What's 15 copper to repair my armor?
You feel worthy, Bob?
Exactly.
I'm like a
You
video
guys
game
are
Republican
speaking-
over here.
You guys are speaking another language, man. I don't mess with WoW anymore. Maybe one of these days I will again, but and I don't even I still don't quite understand what this Classic Plus is.
So yeah,
I
I'll go
understand
back
they're
to that.
gating the like
So
the levels, but
So many people have said, like, can you just keep the engine and keep some of the quest lines and just change like a bunch of other shit? And so that's what they're doing. They're adding units, they're removing units, they're adding completely new gear. Like they're adding new epics and new blues.
They're going
that
down
have,
a
like, special
different
abilities.
development path than the original.
That's
So
the
cool.
best. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say it.
And what other companies get to do this at any point, dude? Like your Domino's, you went down the fucking cheesy bread. You can't fucking take that back and go down the fucking Marinelle route. These people has video games because it's stationary. It's things stopped in time. You could just go back right there. Hey, let's see what would have happened if we would have went not the shitty route. It's so cool that video games can do
Wonderful
that.
Also,
Yeah.
when you were making this point, like the beast within you came out, and your mic got so much louder, and it's just
Sorry.
I got really close. That's why. Bro, that's sleep apnea. You need to get some help for that. So some other things, 2 more things before I finish up on a little.
Sam
classic
kicked me
hardcore.
awake the other night. I go, what? She goes, you were dying.
I saved your fucking life.
Yeah.
bro. There was one time I was like sleeping, and Leslie was like, "Nicholas, you stop breathing," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she took a video of me. I'm like, "Oh my god, I do!" Like,
Yeah.
just completely. I'm like, "All right, I need to sleep."
It's bad. It's bad. We all
Well-
need machines to sleep.
We got thick necks, bro.
Yeah.
So last
Look at
two
the size of
things,
this tongue. It gets caught in my
this-
fucking throat.
for who don't know, that's like a 3-inch wide tongue. He's a mutant.
It's wider than my
Cro-Magnon
mouth.
tongue. It's made for licking meat off of bones.
I have a 5-inch wide tongue and a 3-inch mouth. Like it clogs my breathing.
And so last two things about classic hardcore. Certain classes are in short supply, aka shamans, which also have big tongues.
The ladies love it. I'll tell you that.
I
All right,
can't
bye-bye.
get the image out of you licking like 3 foot by the foots, like beside each other. Like for some reason, like you're eating them all. You're like, this is the only way I can be satisfied.
Dude, Tootsie Rolls only last one lick for me, dude. All right.
A one and it's gone. Other than that, like I said, the market is so weird that money is hard to come by. So people are farming things that sell to normal vendors instead of selling them to the auction house to make money. Other than that, that's really about it. I've been loving it. One also weird phenomenon is you typically see the same people playing. Like if you meet somebody, his name's like Jim Bob, and you meet him at level 10, and you meet him on like Thursday at like 3:00. If you play again, like maybe on like Saturday at 3:00, you'll probably be there. Like I've ran into the same guy all along the leveling path,
Are we talking
probably
about Jim Bob?
6 times. No, not Jim Bob. This guy's name is Toast Waffle.
Toast Waffle,
anyways,
if you're listening.
Toast Waffle.
Nick has your number.
What do you call it? So you do end up playing with the same people all the time, which is nice.
That's so
You
cool,
kind of build
dude.
up like a rapport. Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's so fun,
Yeah.
dude. It's so fun.
You're making me,
But,
but I can't. I have to remain strong.
You know what's an old game is Black Mesa. Tell me more about that.
Oh, Black Mesa. Yeah, I've been playing it. Bobby played this before, but you all have played Half-Life. You all were educated properly. You all grew up cultured. And Christian, myself, and me didn't grow up this way. I grew up a heathen. I grew up not knowing who this man, the crowbar, was and why does he have an orange suit on. I don't know any of it. The first little head crab thingamajogs I saw was in Halo. It freaked me out. I didn't know there was a whole thing before that. So I'm having so much fun, and I don't want to rehash too much because I think I'm on chapter 7. But how many times did you guys die at the 3-clawed green tentacle? You know what I'm talking about in the reactor? They give you all
Yes, I
these
know, yeah.
explosions. Dude, I was like, how many explosions does it take? I'm like aiming my nades off the wall to like get in the hole. I have like the perfect protractor out to get my explosives down in there without taking any damage, and he doesn't die. God damn, that was frustrating. You guys,
That is hilarious.
I don't remember that boss.
must have just
It's
breezed
it's like
by.
a gravity boss. It might be a Black Mesa thing and not a Half-Life thing.
I mean, I
I'm trying
did
to
play
remember.
Black Mesa, and it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, check.
This tentacle thing, and then I finally learned out, no, you can't kill the tentacle thing. You have to turn off the oxygen, or you have to turn on the oxygen, the water, and the fuel so that you can start this afterburner in the middle, which fries it. And there's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just called Tentacle.
Yeah.
That's all it's called.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. I remember this now. And I think this is exclusive to Black Mesa. I don't know. Maybe this wasn't Half-Life. I haven't played Half-Life in a very long time.
The
Nope, it was in
three-clawed
Half-Life.
tentacle. Is that the one that's in the silo and you have to throw grenades at it?
That's what I thought. Yeah. And I threw all my grenades and all my detonator charges, and I picked up a rocket launcher earlier, and I used all the ammo for that. And this fucker just staring at me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense. You have to kind of climb the tower or descend the tower and turn knobs and stuff and kill it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to go to like 3 completely separate areas. Anyways, this blew my mind. And I just think modders rule. I just want to list off some other games that have been brought back or made with modding. So Insurgency, Dota, all TDs and auto chesses came from modding communities. And I just feel like dude, is there an indie films? Is there a way that like an indie filmmaker can just do something completely different, achieve a massive amount of success because everyone loves it and everyone watches it, and now this is like a new genre of movie? Does that happen anywhere else? Does it happen with art?
Blair Witch Project was shot for like $20,000 and made, I don't know, multiple magnitudes of that and spawned the genre. Well, I don't know, Bobby. Am I right in that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole found footage thing. I mean, there were other movies before that. But yeah, same thing with Paranormal Activity. It usually happens with horror movies because they're so cheap to make and people love watching horror movies. So there's a lot of them, yeah, that people made for $1 and then kind of spawned their own genre.
But I feel like it's different because I think most modders don't get into it for the money because it's kind of known for not, it's very rare that a team gets picked up. Maybe it's happening more and more. I know some Skyrim modders and some like Fallout modders have been hired, and things like that. Like Insurgency, or no, actually Counter-Strike started off as a mod, and they just picked up the whole team. Valve just bought them all, gave them all jobs. So, I mean, it can happen, but it is very rare. It's like a labor of love, and
Like, to me, if someone remade Star Wars Episode 4 and it was so good that Disney was like, actually, yeah, you can just sell this now. Like it's just like so. It's just so cool. Bobby and anyone else who's played these two versions, did the remake add any new mechanics? Like, I was playing it and I was having so much fun, and I was like, there's no way this game is this old. Like, I can usually tell when a game is really old because it lacks like some evolution of video games that we have now and we take for granted. And I'm just having so much fun, and I didn't get any of that.
Like in Metal Gear, when you can't aim down the sights for like the first 3 games. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They changed some things, especially later in the game. The levels are very different, and I think they changed a little bit here and there, like level wise earlier in the game. But they've also changed the way some of the weapons work. I can't remember which one specifically. I remember getting it later in the game, but it had a whole different way of how it used ammo.
But the core mechanics were there, dude. That's what.
Yeah, the idea is there. I don't know. I think they actually did change like a pretty good amount. Like I would hesitate to call it like a remaster because they've changed that much, but I think all their decisions are justified and it's a better game because of it. So
Bobby gave it Game of the Year that year. I don't think we ended up giving it to him. I don't remember, but yeah, they're well deserved.
PUBG or something. Anyways,
yeah,
having lots of fun. Can't wait to complete this game. Continue playing it. I look forward to it. I don't dream about it, but it definitely keeps me yearning for something at the end of my day. I'm like, yes, I get to play Black Mesa and have like a fucking awesome time.
Dude, there was a
no
time.
Company. Sorry, go. Yeah, story.
There was a time where like the introduction for PC gaming, I would just say like, there's so many games now, but at the time I would be like, play Half-Life 2. After you play it on easy, if this is your first PC game, by the end of it, you'll be able to play 75% of games because it gets you used to the WASD. What game doesn't use sprint? It's shift is sprint, space bar for jump. Like that was the controls for most cars in PC games. That was a control. Like you could just take the controls from Half-Life and just apply them to so many games. And I mean, it's still applicable to some extent, maybe, but the numbers drop down. But once you learn it's not just that one game. It was PC gaming for a little while, and it still is to some extent, which is awesome. You're gonna love Half-Life 2 as well, dude. There's no way you don't like that game.
Not get ahead of ourselves here.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I would actually say otherwise, man. I don't think, especially after coming
You
off
think-
of Black Mesa,
You think Black Mesa is better than Half-Life 2?
100%, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, Black Mesa is that.
I see
good,
what the
but
people
also
say.
Half-Life 2 is not as good as you remember, dude. Play it. Like, it's
It
an old
suffers from
game.
that thing when you play an old game and you realize, oh, this is an old game. Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right. So let's talk about the big news this week. Lethal Company taking gaming by storm.
it has.
Yeah, everybody's playing this. How many people? I'm looking at the page right now, and it says there's 105,000 people playing right now, and that's also the
Holy
peak for
fuck.
today and the all-time
That's-
peak. So when we talked about this last week, I think I had looked at this, and I can't remember what it was at, maybe like 10,000, but I
Dude, the
feel like it's
DLG
blown
bump,
up.
You did it, Bobby.
Yeah, yeah. I take all the credit for that. But yeah, everybody's playing this game, and rightfully so. It's a really fun game. We streamed it on Friday. You could probably go on our Twitch channel and watch the playback of that. It was pretty funny because we were figuring out the game, and there's a lot to figure out in this game. So the core gameplay loop is a lot of fun. You go out and explore these planets, you fight creatures, you scavenge loot, and then you sell it to make money to buy more stuff to allow you to do all that, but better. So just rinse and repeat. The way that they keep you moving forward in the game is you have to sell enough stuff to meet a quota. So you can't just sit there and farm one easy area and just get a bunch of money and get overpowered. So they have that quota to keep you moving forward.
And with a
But
time limit.
Yeah, you have like a couple days to do it. The game is really good, and as much as I enjoy it, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more in the systemic progression, because right now the way it works is the only thing you get out of all this, you have a good run, and then when it's over, it's over. You lose absolutely everything, but you build
So-
XP as a character. But all that does is give you a badge that says, like, I think I'm a part-timer now. You start out as an intern and I've leveled up to part-timer. And that doesn't do anything. It just lets other people know that you have a little bit more experience. What is interesting, this touches on what you were talking about earlier, you can lose XP. So if you, and I'm not exactly sure how it works, if you die or if your team wipes or what exactly has to happen, but you can drop in rank. So if you keep having bad runs or you're not doing a good job, like, you will lose that XP and get demoted. And it would be nice to, like, I don't know. This is, some people are very hardcore and they're just like, they just want to like play the game itself. But I think when you figure out this game, and you do figure it out, you figure out how the enemies work and the easiest ways to take them down, and then they become like a non-existent challenge anymore. It's very challenging at first, but then you figure out, oh, remember that enemy that you said, oh, if we make noise, it runs away from us. Turns out you don't even need to make noise.
Let me tell you that story, first of all. Somebody had said that, like, maybe some of them are scared by loud noises, some of them are scared by light. This game is so scary. It's so scary. So at first, because it's the unknown, right? There's just crazy, weird things going on, different sounds and stuff. Yeah, the unknown is the most scary. And to Bobby's point, yeah, once you learn every creature type, I'm sure it's less scary because you know their weaknesses, and you can also scan them with your scanner and find out what their weaknesses are. But I was brave, not because I had to, because it was my only choice. This thing had me back against the wall. I had no weapons, I had no friends, and I was lost. Like, I didn't know where to go. And this thing's rattling its thing at me, and it's going, and I was like, but I'm looking at it. Why isn't it attacking me? I was like, oh, it's as scared as me as I'm scared as it. So I took a step forward and I go, blah, 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 and it's like, it's trying to, it's second thinking what it's doing. And then I realized, yeah, I was like, I can back this thing's up. All my hairs on my arms are fucking standing up during this. But like, yeah, I'm walking forward. My nipples are hard and I fucking made it run away, dude. I was like, And then I took that knowledge, and in a subsequent run, me and Bobby were running from something in the dark because his flashlight died. And then I heard, I was like, Bobby, turn around, follow me. I know how to deal with these motherfuckers. And then I go, blah, blah, blah. And Bobby walks up and he's like, shoo, shoo, be gone.
Shoo you!
And it was,
Be gone, the demon of
and it worked,
hell.
dude. It worked, and it felt so satisfying. It was so great. My quick note on this game was the mix of horror. It's satire. It's like satirical horror, and also just mixed in with crazy off the wall comedy. Like, you know, you get a noise like a honk, like a noisemaker, fucking what do you call those things?
Air horn.
Air horn, yeah, that's like an item. You have Bobby bought an air horn for the ship. It's this huge thing that goes hee haw, and it scares things away from the ship. But there were certain times. So two things that I saw Bobby use that for. One, before he went out, he would fucking pull it. So make sure there's nothing around the ship. That's a good move. And then another time, he thought everybody was dead and he had to take off, but he wasn't sure that we were all dead. So he pulled it as a like last call for alcohol, you know, like I'm out of here. So that was a good move as well. But yeah, we were all dead.
There was go ahead, Bobby.
I was going to say that enemy that you were describing. So it turns out that you don't have to make noise to scare it away. It just runs away from you automatically. But what's funny is it is probably one of the scarier looking enemies. So when everyone sees it, they kind of panic a little bit because it's got this huge gaping toothy mouth. But it's actually the most harmless enemy in the game. If you do corner it, it will spray you with some purple mist that'll kind of disorient you, and I don't think it does any damage. But yeah, there's a lot to learn about the game, but once you learn it, it's just kind of like checking a box, and the game becomes all that easier. I will
it's kind
say,
of like Phasmophobia, right? Where you have to learn what everything does. You have to learn what like the items do as well, what the monsters do.
yeah, there's a lot of learning, but also in Phasmophobia, I don't know. I feel like that
Every
game,
ghost can kill you, though.
yeah, there still is a challenge to that game. This one is like I figured out you can jump on items in these dungeons, these areas that you explore. When you jump on the items, the enemies can't even hit you. Most of them can't hit you. So you can, if you have a shovel, you just jump on that and you can beat them to death. I don't know. They may patch that, but you also learn how different enemies work, and then you figure out how to handle those ones. And then
Bobby, how do you deal with that invisible assassin thing?
I don't know what that is. Invisible
So-
assassin.
There was a thing that has like big claws and like really big white eyes, and it looks like it's covered in like a black sheet. And
Yeah.
it chased Emilio, and it grabbed him and it like kidnapped him, and it killed him. It like broke his neck while he was running
So I think that's
away.
the stalker or the flower man.
That sounds right. The stalker
Probably
sounds
the
right.
Flowerman.
So that thing you have to. Okay, so this is how I think you have to deal with him, but I'm not 100% sure. You have to look at him for a second or two, but then you have to look away, but also keep him in your field of vision. You don't look directly at him, because if you turn away and stop looking at him, then he's going to stalk you, and that means he's going to chase you until you either die or exit the dungeon. But yeah, that one's pretty difficult to deal with at first. But if you have weapons and enough people, you can kill him in like 2-3 hits. But
So he that is the Flowerman. You are correct.
yeah.
So the night that we played, Bobby, like I had to go to bed because I had to get up at 5 in the morning. I wanted to I would have played that game all night. And I was like, I gotta go to bed. And then Nick's like, all right, I'm out. And then Cricket's like, I'm out. I'm like, how are they not continuing this? Bobby wanted to play so much he fucking went randos. Is that how you picked up all this info, Bobby?
Yeah, well, I mean, not so much that night. So I had a mixed bag playing with randos that night. But earlier today, I got in a really good game with some people. But I had to jump out to do the podcast. But
Son of a bitch.
yeah, and it's really tough to play this game solo. But yeah, you guys were not much help. If you go back and watch the video, if you watch the stream, I mean, it's at one point I'm just kind of standing there and like all this stuff is happening. And first of all, like the communication's kind of difficult, at least with our team. There's a lot of chatter. So we tried doing like the walkie talkies and one person in base, but I felt like Nick wasn't really like listening to me when I was trying to give him directions. So then when I went in there with Emilio, I realized, oh, Nick's probably listening to Emilio and me, and it's hard to like communicate with two separate groups of people. So I don't know, the communication was difficult, but there was one point in the game where I just like, I'm standing there and literally my whole team is just running around screaming and dying. And then I'm just waiting it out. Like, because the turrets are not that hard to deal with, but you know, you just don't stand in front of the bullets, guys. It's not that hard.
I was already damaged from falling, man. It took one bullet. I died. It was one bullet.
They got a long wind up though. I mean, you figure out where it is and then you say, okay, there's the turret. And then you skip across, you got a few seconds and you just don't stand in front of it. And then I had to just carry all the corpses back to the ship, but yeah.
So do you like this game or not?
Oh, I love this game, man. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm talking. I not crazy about my teammates, but
Right.
the game.
It was our first time. It was all our first time.
Okay, it was my first
Excuses?
time too,
No.
but I feel like you guys should be better at video games at this point. I was just like, you're doing
We
stuff.
were
where I
trying
was
to
just-
figure things out. We didn't know what things
No, I mean,
did.
Emilio at some
So
point was like,
disappointing.
guys, if you carry the heavy stuff, it makes you run slower. And we're like, okay, so pretty much every video game ever. Dude. Like you had this hot tip that you were dropping on us.
It doesn't. It doesn't run. You don't run
said it 5
slower.
minutes later, dude.
It uses up your stamina faster. It's different.
God,
Okay,
Bobby,
all right.
open up your listening ears. God.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was taking us a little while to figure some things out here, but it was
Bobby
fun.
would be
And
like,
So
Bobby
angry.
would be like, hey, there's a little area right here. You can charge your things. That's cool. 10 minutes later, Emilio goes, you guys know you can charge your stuff on the wall? God,
Well,
he just
they-
said it. He just
I mean, he
said
may not have been around, but there is proximity chat. So you only hear when the people are close to you, and it is all talk. You can use push to talk, but for the most part, the default setting is just the talk is on all the time. So you're hearing like everybody's little brother or sister, their children, their dogs, their girlfriend. Like you're hearing all that in the background. You're hearing yourself come through someone else's speakers because they don't use headphones. Like
Bobby.
it's just,
I hear about your worst teammate, and
I mean, the randos were pretty bad. I had some pretty bad rando groups too.
Well,
but
I want to know, like, who were your best teammates?
my best teammates, probably the group I was playing with earlier today, like they were maybe about as knowledgeable as me in the game, but still kind of new. We had like a plan and we were like doing stuff, but
Bobby, you just gave out a load of criticism to Nick and Emilio. I feel like you have to highlight 3 things your new teammates did that you wish they did.
Make
not
money.
stand in front of turrets.
It was one bullet.
First of all,
I was already damaged. It was one
I think
bullet.
he's
He
talking
already
about
fell,
me.
Bobby. He already fucking fell.
I think he's already talking about me because there was one point, there was a moment we were cornered by 2 turrets, and I was like, if we run, we get shot. So I was like, I wonder if I can destroy the turret with the shovel. And so I was like, or maybe something can happen, right? And so I run to it, I whack it with the shovel, and it begins to like make funny noises and stop shooting. So I'm like, oh, I guess I defeated it, right? And then it's like doo doo, and then it starts shooting, but it starts shooting in a circle around it, and I'm like, ah! And I was in a hallway. There's nothing I could do.
Did you knock it
No,
over?
you
though?
could you
Like,
could have stood right where this whole time where you were struggling with the turret. I'm standing perfectly still in a safe spot.
He's
Like-
not buying.
Yeah, I sacrificed myself so you could leave.
He's
he's so
I mean,
upset about this.
The turret is just like right around the corner.
Every excuse, he's like, no.
Nick, you're saying it's like a portal turret where you knock it over and it shoots crazy for a little bit, right? Like that?
Well, it doesn't get knocked over. You whack it, and then it gets stunned, and that's when you're supposed to run, I guess. But
Oh.
once it comes back
Stunned.
online,
It doesn't get stunned. No.
watch
I-
the VOD. Oh, you can't see my
I
perspective.
tested it out. It doesn't get stunned. It takes like 3 seconds for the turret to start firing bullets, and it'll give you a warning. It'll be like click, click, beep, beep, so you know it's going to happen.
Click, beep, beep, murder coming, murder
So I
coming.
mean, when you hear that, you realize I'm in danger. I should go back to where I was 2 seconds ago, where I wasn't in danger. And like that's how you dodge a turret. And then you wait there, and then you look for an area to run to, and then you run to it before the turret has a chance to start shooting
No, dude.
bullets.
No.
No,
See,
if you whack it, they just spin around and shoot bullets everywhere.
You ever
But
seen a
it-
Mexican
yes,
boxer, dude? We win by just going forward and not give it a shit.
Well,
that's
I don't
how-
think they box turrets though. Like, that's
We do.
They poop turrets with shovels.
Literally, Nick's first solution was, let me box it.
Let me
I
hit it
did
with
whack
a
it.
shovel. Oh, this was, Bobby. Usually,
you know what's unfortunate though is like you really can't play this game solo. Like
That's
you don't
so
have enough
unfortunate.
time. Yeah.
so
well,
fucking unfortunate.
I mean, you need a team, but then like you,
Which sucks. Which really fucking sucks.
yeah, I don't know. Where's all our DLG tryhards out there? That's who I need to be playing with here.
Bobby wants
Bobby-
the creme to the creme.
Bobby doesn't
Let's
see
get
things,
sweaty.
see
you wanna
things
be
the way
Bobby's
that I do.
friend.
So Bobby's like, you play the game, and by his own admission, you have a great time, but you don't get anything out of it. That's like what he said, because you don't level up or anything. I guess you level up, but it doesn't get you anything. But
Mhm.
like, I also feel the same way about like playing with character or players that aren't as good. Like, it's your job to like raise them up. You know, it's part of. It's a difficult. It's like when you're playing DLG and there's a modifier on the level, like exploders. Sometimes you're playing with somebody who can't aim. You just have to deal with it. You know, and that's the fun. I feel like that's fun.
I don't know, dude. Like there's a certain level that I can tolerate with that. You know? It's
I
like
can't
trying-
tolerate people that stand in front of turrets.
I mean, if you're playing chess with like a 5-year-old and you're just like, you know, trying to make like play, you know, you're trying to
beat
play
you in
chess
3
and they're like
turns.
eating the pawns, you know. That's this is
Christ.
like yeah, dude. It's like if two people know how to play a game, that's fun. But if one person is just
Now,
Christian,
For those who don't know,
What is that
Steiner's
laugh,
dying.
dude?
now, for the listeners that don't know, Christian was thinking about like because we named the podcast after like the best line a lot of the time or something like that or something funny that happens. So this one would be Pawn Eaters, right? But Christian wants to change it to episode 502. You know, we talked about this and that, but we're losing Pawn Eaters. That's a pretty good one.
Dude,
Yeah,
nobody does
yeah.
the inside joke for the episode titles anymore, though. That's like so 2014.
All right.
I've been defeated by this segment. Like, I feel my chest hurts. Like,
Well, I mean, real question: are you gonna pick this game up? It's only $10. I don't know what that is in Canada.
It's not even
maybe
about
12.
Canada, dude. It's about Christian. That's like $75 American.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like to him, $10 is like
Emilio does know how cheap I.
That's one order at Tim
am.
Hortons. I can't sacrifice that.
Oh, bro,
Yeah,
that'll
that's-
make you
that's
shit.
what it
You
is.
don't want Tim Hortons. I don't know what they do to that
It's-
coffee. That's straight in and out.
$10 is. Go ahead.
I would love to pick up this game and play with you guys. It's 4 players, right?
Yeah,
It's worth.
Yeah, like
play.
this should be like a Christian, Rianne, Nick, Leslie game. I think you
That would
guys
be
would have a
Baldur's
blast. Although I did feel bad for Bobby on our playthrough because he was like the mastermind in the ship, and he was also the one streaming, which is it's probably the least streamable content, right?
That's why I wanted to switch it up with the positions.
And then so Bobby's like, "Oh, let me get in there," and then we played one where he was out in the field, and then we all went to bed, so it kind of sucked. Also, Bobby, I can't hear when you're on the radio. Like I can't hear the other person, the other voice.
Yeah, but the person with the other walkie-talkie can. But the problem is there's no compass, there's no map. So when you're giving people directions, you're like, take a right, take a left, and so I think I was watching Nick, and Nick was, I think, getting my directions delayed, but also spinning around a lot, like just constantly like doing 180 spins
the
and
old
stuff.
Yeah,
turret
because I'm looking
spin.
behind my back for the literal
There's
devil. to take my
monsters.
butthole.
Well, dude, but I'm literally
Monsters,
watching.
Bobby.
I'm watching a map that shows the red dots where the enemies are. So if you just listen to me, like there was a point. Okay, go back, watch the video. There's a point where I'm trying to explain for like 2.5 minutes where a turret is. It's literally like right around the corner from you, and I'm just like, no, just stop moving, dude. Stop moving. It is up.
Stop hitting
and
the
to
pond.
right.
Stop hitting the pond.
And the flashlights, man, the flashlights are super important too. Not the level 1 ones, but I figured out you just got to get those like level 2
Pros.
flashlights, or you just can't. That and the weapons. So we found weapons later on, but you have to like get a weapon right away. Otherwise, like you can't even fight a little loot bug. Like the easiest of enemies to kill, you can't even do anything about it because you have no damage. So
How long is a
having a
run,
weapon.
guys? An hour ish?
How much what?
How long is a run? Like an hour ish?
No, very quick. When you drop down on a planet, I mean, God, you have a day in game time, but it goes super quick because if you stay past when it gets dark, then the monsters spawn on the outside and they're really tough to deal with. So you actually got to be really quick about it. So I feel like each run is pretty quick, and then you have like 4 days to get your quota, your first quota. Yeah, it's we were struggling with the first levels, but now that I got a little more experience, like the first levels, it's pretty easy to get geared and moved on. And I want to like play these later levels that people are talking about where they get really, really difficult.
I
Sounds like
want to talk about one more thing. The sound design was pretty cool as far as the in-game chat. So, yeah, it's what do you call it? How far away you are, proximity.
Mhm.
But then as they walk away, it gets smaller and smaller, which is scary. Like, when Bob is explaining how to do something, and then it goes like, then you take right mouse button, and then and you're like, oh, what was that last part? And you like run back into the darkness to see what he was saying, and he's not there where you think he went. Like, it's scary. And then
And
the
also
other part,
hilarious when you hear somebody just getting thrashed in the room next to you, and you're just like, all right, close that door and walk the other way.
and the other part that I liked is there is audio effects on the voices. So I wasn't sure, but there is a tinnier, like when you're in the spaceship, it's a little tinnier. But where I really heard it was when you were in the canyon level, and you could really hear the echoes in the canyon, and I thought that was very cool. And I think voices carried longer in the canyons. I feel like the echo just went down the canyons. I thought it was very cool. And the design is so cool because you have the scary dungeon and you have your home base, but you also have this open air place that you have to get through in order to get between those two. And I think that's part of the magic. It really is, because you're like, oh my god, fucking shit's chasing me. I got a fucking generator in my fucking shoulder. Open the door, shut the door. Okay, I'm safe. And then you're like, oh fuck, I gotta deal with fucking monsters in midnight under the eclipse. Like, what the fuck? And you gotta somehow get this generator all the way through. And it's like, you feel like you're never safe, because even in your base, Christian, did you watch the video? We got 8 in our own base, man. Monsters come in your base and kill you.
Well,
damn.
we didn't figure that out right away. So you can shut the door to your base, and we did that, and we figured we were safe. And then the door just opened, and it happened to open at the time where Emilio showed up, and a monster came in and ate
Twice.
all of us. Yeah, 2 times. And it turns
Emilio, the
out-
door opener, they called me.
Yeah, we thought, okay, the first time I'm pretty sure you opened the door and just let a monster in.
Oh
in my
boy, here we
case.
go.
Okay.
Here we
The
go.
first time I think was your fault, but the second time, no. What we figured out was when you shut the door, it's got this hydraulic system that goes on a timer, and it runs out. When it runs out, the door just opens up, and this monster
Oh.
just comes in and just eats everybody inside there like it's emptying a
What
tuna
did you guys
can.
call the ship? What did you guys call the ship? Can the ship be
Uh,
named?
No, you cannot name your ship or your crew.
Ah, dang. So, Bobby, you love this game, but what you're looking for is more systemic progression. And Nick, Emilio, you just love the game and you just want to see more maps, more weapons, or what?
I want it to progress. I would like to see, like,
Even
Bobby
if it's
figuring
just
everything out.
cosmetic, that would be nice. More than
I-
just like a rank that goes up and
Right.
down. I think it would be nice if you could. I don't know. I'd be fine with just cosmetics.
Like I said, the unknown is the scariest part, right? And if you only have 12 creature types, you can solve that, especially if you play that a lot. So just more creature types, more sounds, more creepiness, more. Just keep adding so that somebody cannot become proficient and not ever be comfortable. You don't want people to be comfortable in this game. I had a great time. It was fun, scary too. It wasn't like I can't sleep at night scary. It was like fun, scary, which is great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Good game.
We're hearing the sirens. Baby blaring. Emilio, you Remnant 2 DLC? Is that fun?
Yeah, the Awakened King. It's funny because so I put this on the radar in our Discord, which is you can find that at dlgaming.net, and I was like, this is coming up, but there's not a lot of information on it. Nobody's playing it early. There's no early copies. Like, what's going on with this? And I was kind of worried. Then it came out and it's like 9 out of 10. And I posted that and I was like, yes, it's fucking awesome. And then I played it and I played it the first 2 hours twice. And I had a good time both times, really good time. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me make my notes. And then I look at this and it's mixed reviews now. It dropped from 9 out of 10 to like 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 10. I'm like, what happened? And I don't tell you the truth. I don't know exactly what happened. There are some very hard mobs in this game, very hard. The difficulty has skyrocketed. And I think it's a good thing. I thought the original, even though people always say this game is really hard, I thought it was kind of easy. So, not that I'm a good video game player, but this game just kind of like, it's my jam, like I really like it. And so now it's like right where I like it. I'm playing on veteran mode, which is second to the hardest. And it is right where I need it to be. I really enjoy it. So this game is so hard to explain because there's multiple worlds and all this shit. So the DLC is taking one of the several worlds you can play through in the first game and expanding on it. So it makes it longer and there's more lore, there's more everything. The lore for this particular dimension is there's these drow which look like kind of like dark elves, and they live in this terrible world. Like the buildings are on fire, there's monsters running around everywhere. But
Hey man, that might just be their decor, all right?
No, they
No.
they like collectively they're delusional collectively. They form some sort of cult or belief or religion, and they all believe everything's awesome. And every once in a while, one will wake up and then be like, oh shit, like it's fucking terrible, guys. Like this is bad. And then the other ones will shun them and kick them out. Like, no, everything's great. Everything's not on fire, basically. And so it's a very interesting world. And I'm glad that this was the first world that they choose for the first DLC. It was free for me, by the way, because I paid for the deluxe edition, so that was cool. But yeah, I was very glad that they expanded on this. They used a lot of the same assets, the same character models, the same buildings, just more of what you liked the first time. So, if you love this game, there's no way you're gonna hate the DLC. I can't see that is a possibility. Along with the game came a huge patch because there was a lot of there was broken things in the game where there were some combinations that were just too good, so they kind of busted those up, which is good because it's not fun if you're cheating, like standing on top of an item hitting things with the stick, Bobby. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Diddy really enjoys it. Cricket really enjoys it, and we're all big fans of this game. So yeah, $10 too. That is not a ton of money for a DLC. So 2 thumbs up over here.
Got the DLG bump. Buy it.
DLG boom.
Okay, cool. Guess that sound. Guys, guess what? There's $30 in the pot. $30 in the pot, and we have a new guess. So you can guess the sound at pixelshitshow@gmail.com to guess. Patrons get 2 guesses at a time, so you can send in 2 guesses, and I'll read both of them. I need to clarify a little bit because Corey sent in a guess. His guess was Counter-Strike 2, which is a big fat no. Nuh-uh, no way. Counter-Strike 2 is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something more specific, Corey, and everyone else out there listening. I'm looking for, like, reloading the needle gun in Halo 2. You know that noise? That ka-chink, ka-choink? Like, you know that. I'm looking for that level of specificity, okay? And Bobby, Emilio,
Are you gonna play it
and
again?
Nick. Oh, I am gonna play it again. Bobby, Emilio, and Nick will have a chance to help the next guessers. Just one other thing I have to clarify. You can guess as many times as you want, but I'm always going to go with the person who hasn't guessed yet. Does that make sense? So don't hold back your guess, right? I talked to some people, they're like, I don't want to blow my guess. You know, I want to wait till some other guesses come in. Blow your guesses, guys. Blow them this way, blow them that way. And here's the sound. I think I should play it one more time. That's the sound. That's the sound.
Fuck.
And it's really exciting, guys, because it's $30 in the pot. It's Steam credit. You can buy a game with it. And Nick and Bobby and Emilio, they have a chance right now to help you. They're going to play a special game. And I think this one's going to be fun. Nick and Emilio have to correctly guess what Bobby is humming to you. But you have to guess the same answer, the same final answer. You can talk amongst yourselves, but you have to send the same final answer through. If that answer is correct, we will get a hint for what the noise is that will help narrow down the search criteria. Okay? Bobby? Come on.
Hum away.
Ready to hum?
Take it away.
Give me a Hummer, Bobby. Give me a Hummer.
I don't know if I'm going to try. So it goes a little something like this. Let me think.
Oh, I know what it is.
You know what it is. Come on, you guys know what this is.
I'll give you a hint. It deals with pirates.
Oh. Yeah,
It's a theme
it's
song to-
I
it's a
mean,
theme
do I
song
see the
to-
game? Christian?
No, it's
No,
not
it's
said
not a
good.
game.
Nope. Just guess what
It's-
he's humming.
It's the theme song to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, it looks like they woohoo! Cha 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 cha! You got and Bobby, what's the clue?
What? Oh, do I know the clue?
Oh, I told you. That's okay.
Do I know the clue?
Oh, you did. I don't know, man. Let me see.
The clue is get a clue. The clue is melee, folks. The clue is melee.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me.
Melee. It's a pretty big one. It's a pretty big clue. So use that clue. Send a guess in. pixelshitshow@gmail.com. No spaces, no dashes, nothing. And let us hear your guesses. It's plug time. Rate us on Spotify. We have 38 ratings on Spotify. We're a 4.8 star podcast. Does it feel like we are? You know? Bring the quality, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We also stand in front of turrets, dude.
Come on.
Bombs.
We're not the brightest crayons in
We
the
also
fucking...
block bullets
That's
with
true.
our face.
don't rate us 5. Rate us 4. Maybe even 3, depending how you feel. But do rate us. Go to Spotify. Click the little stars on mobile. It helps a lot. The higher ratings we get, the higher we appear on the Spotify searches. Gaming podcast. So
There
that's
are
great.
thousands and thousands of you. Go to Spotify and fucking
You know what? Before we move on too quickly, now that people have gotten the hint of melee for the sound, could we hear the sound 1 or 2 more times?
No, because then you're trying to play, Bobby. But this is for money. This
This is actually a request in the chat here, but also I
Oh.
think it would be helpful for the listeners.
well.
to
This
know
is
that
also a podcast, and you could go back and listen to it if you do so choose.
Yeah, but that's really annoying to have to try and rewind while you're driving your car or operating heavy machinery.
I think it's worth it. It's $30, Bobby. $30. How much is
Okay.
your insurance premium really gonna go up after you crash?
Nick is really good at sound effects, so I think Nick should do the sound to his best of his ability, and that's what people can guess off. I'll
So it's like-
compromise.
So it's something metallic. So it goes.
Amazing.
very-
Look at that, everyone. Do with that what you will. Emilio, do we have subs?
I'm not looking at them, but let me see. Yes, we do. Due for you 5 months. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming to DLG Con. King Tayron, 10 months. Sup, guys, he says. Sup, guys means you should be at the next DLG Con. Let's unveil the mask. Let's see who is behind haunting of the abandoned railroad. You know what I mean? Like who's behind the mask? I don't know. Let's go to listener questions, Bobby.
Listener questions. We've got 3 of them. Well, technically 4. First one is from iTom. What's the first game you would play on the new refreshed Steam Deck? I would play Slay the Spire. So we didn't talk about the new Steam Deck, but that was all over the Steam page. Just based on my 2-minute research, the big thing that they're advertising is the OLED screen. So you're going to have HDR, you're going to have that high contrast, really dark darks, really light lights, and everything in between. But it's also supposed to be lighter, have better battery life, and it's got the Wi-Fi 6E antenna in it, which is the latest version of Wi-Fi now, which is crazy. I feel like we're moving fast. Like I just updated to Wi-Fi 6, which is like gigabit over Ethernet now, supposedly. And it's supposed to overheat less too, which I don't know. I heard that could be an issue with those things, but just altogether, just a better Steam Deck with a nicer screen. So
I feel like the prices are really reasonable. Like, not only are you getting a better Steam Deck, but I feel like the prices have not raised to match what you're getting. I still think you're getting a crazy deal. At the very beginning, you were getting a crazy deal. You know, we looked at this thing and compared it to like laptops of equal value, and it's just like laptops were like $2,000 to match the computing power of this thing, and still didn't do it as well. And now you're getting an even better version. And I said this on our Discord was I use my Steam Deck like 5 to 6 times a year, and I still want to upgrade. So if anybody wants to buy my base model Steam Deck, I am selling it for like $250, I guess. But yeah.
What I'd play. I don't know because it's $689 Canadian dollars with like $7,000 to Christian. So if I had a Steam Deck, I think I would. I'm a big fan of TDs, and I feel like I would love to play like TDs on the plane. I should have talked about that on the way back from DLG Con. I played a TD on the airplane game, like on the ones that they have preloaded on the screen, and I beat it. And I was like, oh.
What are your favorite TDs, dude? I didn't know that you were a fan.
My favorite TD is Elemental TD, but there's also
Hell yeah, dude.
Is that the one with the robots?
No, there's no robots, but Elemental TD is cool because the powers synergize with each other and the elements combine to make new things when they're beside each other, which is a twist. But I think Legion TD is a great game. Like, it puts a way new twist on it. There just wasn't enough people playing, and the people I ended up playing with were they got angry at me. Oh, and also I got addicted, so I had to uninstall it.
Oh, Bobby, I have to update you. So Black Mesa has an 84 Metacritic and Half-Life 2 has a 96, especially after the RTX update. Just putting it out there.
Okay, well, Christian, you play Half-Life 2 and you tell us which
I'll
one's
be
better.
the judge of that.
Because, dude, everybody's got such a hard-on for Half-Life 2, man. But, like, it was super popular when it came out. And yeah, it was like the biggest game ever when it came out. But you know, a lot has changed in gaming. I don't think it holds up nearly as well. It blew our minds because we could like kick a soccer ball in that game or swing a swing, dude. Like people lost their fucking minds over that. And now it's just like big fucking deal, dude. You know, like the physics in that game with the gun was like the whole thing.
All right. All right.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Right.
Nick, what
And
are you playing on the
apparently-
new Steam Deck?
I'm gonna go with either Hades or The Binding of Isaac. I feel like those
Yeah.
are both perfect Steam Deck games.
As a owner, I will say my favorite Steam Deck game is probably The Binding of Isaac. Yep. A $9.99 game that will give you. It's also my Desert Island game, which kind of works out for it being on the Steam Deck. I'll get my power from the sun or the coconuts or whatever. I'll charge my shit up and I will play The Binding of Isaac forever. Yep.
Cool.
Favorite alcoholic drink? Pyronical. Jeez, man. I will say this. I drink alcohol for the effect, not for the flavor. Like people will say that things are delicious. I say bullshit. Same thing with coffee. Coffee tastes like utter dog shit.
That big tongue, dude. Your taste buds are too. You can't
Yeah.
taste like the rest of them.
You're getting overwhelmed.
Sure,
Yeah.
people love coffee, and I will say, yeah, I do believe that you love the taste of coffee, but you only love the taste of coffee because your brain has tricked your brain into thinking, your taste buds into thinking that you're addicted to this effect, you know, and so it's making like, oh, this is good, you know.
Well,
Same thing with beer, same thing with whiskey. Like,
you said this at DLG Con and got a lot of heat for it. Not a
I
lot
think
of
it's the
people agree
truth,
with you.
man. This,
I
it's all-
understand where you're coming from because people also enjoy cigarettes. Like you build an addiction to something and then
Right.
you crave it. So like I kind of understand where you're
Nobody
coming from.
says they enjoy the taste of cigarettes. What?
Yeah, dude. People enjoy
Yeah,
like
they
the
enjoy
certain
Yeah, no,
flavors
people
of
say that they
cigars.
love the taste of,
Yeah.
or like the taste of cigarettes after a meal. That's a thing. Like I just
Yeah,
watched
totally.
a podcast where somebody talked about quitting smoking after 35
Okay, then
years.
I do believe Emilio. Because I could
Yeah.
never like the taste of this.
But I think it's possible to make coffee taste good, like if you do enough stuff to it.
That's
But-
what I'm saying. It's all in the stuff that you're doing to it. A fresh brewed black coffee will always taste like shit. And if it doesn't, and you fucking did you know, the perfect bean under the perfect heat under the perfect circumstances, yeah, it might taste great, but that is not what everybody does. Everybody brews this god awful witch's brew, and then add sugar and chocolate until it's palatable. Anyway, so my favorite is whichever one fucks me up the fastest. No, that's not true. Sometimes you want to be drunk for a very long. I'm a professional, guys. How often am I on here sloppy? Okay, it does happen, but like, you know, I don't get my hangovers are like controllable, and I wouldn't say he's a problematic drunk. A drunk, but not a problematic one, because I figured it all out, guys. There's ways to do it. There's limits, how much alcohol you're consuming per hour. This whole thing, yeah. So whatever you're doing at the time, there's a certain drink for that. So that's my favorite.
The alcohol professor here. There's the Jamaican
Yeah.
rum, and when it's mixed with apple juice, it tastes like apple pie, and that's my favorite because how can you not like the taste of apple pie?
Have you ever had a apple pie moonshine?
No.
So you could probably find it in Canada because we give everything to you guys all the time. It comes in a jar. It comes in a jar. Moonshine used to be illegal, but now it's technically not. Get apple pie moonshine and mix it with ginger ale. It's one of the tastiest things if you like apple pie. I think it tastes more like apple pie than probably what you're saying with that rum. My favorite drink is a sidecar. For those who don't know, it's Hennessy with some orange liqueur and some lemon inside of it, and it's very, very tasty, and it gets you fucked up pretty quick as well. So I'll usually have like 2 or 3 of those.
Don't understand these fancy drinks, man.
Bobby, there was a time where you were a drinker. What was the thing that made you get a DUI?
Oh my God. My first one was Southern Comfort, which tastes like hairspray.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. And then
Does
my
Southern
second,
Comfort come in a plastic bottle now? I think it does, dude.
No,
I have
it
no
still
idea.
comes. It still the big one. Yeah, the handle. Yeah, it's plastic, but the smaller ones come in glass.
Yeah, but no, I drank a lot of scotch. I hated beer. Like I couldn't stand beer. Um, but I drank a lot of scotch and vodka. And then I started getting into gin a little bit too. But
I like
and I,
gin.
I didn't I
Someone
didn't like
likes gin.
mixed drinks, you know, I would just have it very neat. But
Hmm.
yeah.
I mean, don't get me completely wrong. I enjoy the fuck out of a good martini. I love olives, like love it. But still, I would love just an olive drink better than an alcoholic olive drink. All right, what's next?
Next question from Warconius. What do you guys think about Dave the Diver being in the indie category for the Game Awards? He says, personally, the debate over what indie and what's not is useless, or what is indie and what's not is useless. They should have more categories like best 2D pixel roguelike, best walking sim, etc.
I mean, I think as far as like what determines indie, I think there probably should be like a set thing, whether or not be like one of three categories, like budget, or amount of employees, or like time worked on the game. Like you have to get like two or three of those to be determined indie. Like there
No,
like,
I
to be
don't know,
like a
man.
cap.
Time worked on the game, that's kind of hard to calculate with some of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, what do you think?
I I understand where he's coming from, but I do like the idea of having that category just so we don't go around ignoring indie games, because it's really easy to give all the awards to The Witcher 3 or the latest Zelda game, or you know, all these big budget AAA that everybody buys and knows about with all the beloved icons and characters. But the most interesting stuff happening in gaming is always with indie games, and it's nice to shine a light on that.
Yeah, I go with kind of Nick on this one. I like the different type criteria. Um, just it's harder to find that. You know, the lines are blurred. What is single A, double A, triple A? You need it. Yeah, I really like the how many people worked on this. The because if you have one person that works 10,000 hours on a game, that's not the same as 10 people working 1,000 hours. It really isn't. It's more indie, I feel like, than that. So I don't know. Different criteria. Yeah, but who's gonna be the indie auditor that goes around the world and fucking checks all the check boxes? Um, Dave the Diver looks like an indie. I don't know who developed it. Is it a big studio?
I don't know. When it came out, I didn't, it just didn't feel like an indie game to me because it was very well done, but I really don't
So
know much about the people that developed it. So like, I don't, maybe it was, and they just did a really good job.
Let's look it up. We have the
I
capability.
I don't know whether or not it's like my like idea of what indie means, right? So like let's make comparisons in a different medium, maybe that might work. Um One of the best animations of all time is made by one person, and it's a Warhammer animation, and he worked on it for 2 years. It's better than anything the official Warhammer page has ever put out. Is that considered indie, or is it not considered indie because it's so good? Um like if a game is good, why does that not make it indie? You know, because that's Bobby's like, oh, I don't think it's indie because it's so good. You were saying Dave the Diver doesn't belong here because it's
It didn't
like a
cross me as
game.
an indie game. I mean, when I stopped and thought about it, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not from a big developer, but you know, where do you draw those lines?
Okay, not that this is the end be all end all, but so I clicked on Dave the Diver and I came up with Mini Rocket. Mini Rocket is maybe a subsection of Nexon, and Nexon has made Cartwriter Drift. Nobody's ever heard of it. Mostly positive 5,000, 4,000 sales. Maple
I've
Story.
talked about that game many times in the podcast.
Oh, yeah. I
Car Rider
know.
Drift. Yeah, dude. Next one. I've talked about all this when I spoke about Dave the Diver and many other
Oh,
times.
okay.
Like they're a publisher, and I think they developed some games too. And I've played like several of them, but I think they published the game and Mint Rocket developed it. But Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we need to do the research live on the podcast, but I'd
Yeah.
I don't know if they're being categorized as an indie game in the Game Awards. I trust that those people know what they're talking about because I don't. So I'll go with it. But I hope it wins a bunch of awards because it's definitely my game of the year, and I thought it
Dude,
was just really nice and a refreshing game in the midst of. I mean, it was
a
a good year
crazy
for.
year.
Yeah, there was a lot of good games this year, but this definitely stood out to me.
I don't know who posted it, but somebody's like, "Oh, maybe Christian." The last time that we had a collective Metacritic score for 1 year, was that you that posted that
Oh yeah, yeah. This has been the highest Metacritic
in
score
20 years, right?
in some crazy. I can't remember the exact, but it was like yeah. We won't get this year. We won't get a year like this for video games probably in a long time.
Yeah, it's maybe we don't pick the best this year. Just like talk about our favorites because who needs to pick a king? Really, let's be communists. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We got to talk about how we're going to structure it this year. Bobby, you are a expert at something. All those Amazon boxes being piled up behind you. What have you been buying, sir? As a man who I know hates things. So three times
Christmas gifts.
today, 3 times today, Sam was like, "Get this for Bobby," and I was like, "Bobby doesn't want things. Do not get him things. A thing is like it takes up space in his perfect little realm, and that's not what you can't get him a thing."
I don't have much room here. Yeah, that is true. Those are all boxes that have been sitting here. They were on the last episode. They've been sitting there for like 2 weeks now because I'm building a home server with it's kind of like a NAS, but it's also running virtual machines and a couple other stuff, a couple other things. But I kept all the boxes because I've got quite a few hard drives here and a lot of other parts, and I want to make sure that everything works and I don't have to return them. I've already had to return 2 of the 5 hard drives I bought. Well, technically 8 hard drives that I bought, but the actual storage ones. And that's never fun going through that process. But I'm hanging on to all that crap for a little while until I'm sure like everything's good. I'm not done with the burn-in testing, but once that's complete, then I'll start throwing it away because then I'll know I won't need to ship anything back while the warranty is still
What are
good.
you doing with all this power, and how does it help the podcast?
Well, I could spin up a Minecraft server if you guys want. Or
Whoa!
Nice.
yeah, save
like
us
it, I like
like
it.
$7 a month there. But yeah, I don't know. I really what I needed was a backup because I had been kind of quietly using my
Infinite
uh,
internet.
no my uh, at my work we have a Google Workspace like business account, and they used to give you unlimited storage on there, but now we only have like I don't know. Still, it's like a ton, dude. It's like 500 terabytes, I think. Um,
Whoa.
but I can see a list of like the people who are taking up the most space, and I was like number 4 on the list because I was storing all this stuff on there. I had like 10 years worth of a video production class backed up on there. I was backing up some of some of the videos from like side jobs I had done on there too, which I probably shouldn't be doing. So what I need is a safe place to store this stuff that has some redundancy and backups. So
I think it's
the
sexy,
data's
Bobby.
safe.
I'm glad you're doing it.
Bobby,
But
is
can
this
we
your retirement
also?
plan?
This is not my retirement plan, but what is our retirement plan? Because that's Warconius's last question.
I do have a question before we move on.
Okay.
Can we run a
Nice try,
permanent?
Christian.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck up it all. Can we get a TF2 24-hour server going
Yeah,
with
we could
our
do
own
that.
rules?
Yeah, we could do that. I don't know who's going to play on it. I mean,
But then they will come.
yeah, if
maybe.
you build it, they will come for sure.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that either. But
It
Yeah,
won't.
we'll see.
I mean, it's not going to take up a lot of what you're doing, right? It's like a small something.
The
you're
hardware,
doing.
no. The internet connection. I mean, I'm going to see how that goes. I've got gigabit and it's pretty solid. The upload's pretty good. But yeah, I could spin up one of those and then see how it goes. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool, dude. I'm down. I'm down to play. Well, I'll add my fucking 2 hours a week on it of playtime.
Well, I feel like you need really fast servers for like a first person shooter. So I'm wondering how it'll perform with that, but we can see how it goes. If
Let's
you're
find
hosting
out.
something more like Minecraft or what's that vampire game where with all the crafting that we were really into, or you guys were into for a while.
Valheim?
Yeah, like
V-Rise.
Valheim or
yeah.
V Rising.
V Rising.
V Rising or Valheim, like those ones. I don't think they require as fast of a connection. But yeah, I don't
5
know.
years ago, Bobby told me to read the Little Book of Common Sense Investing, and I read it. And then I took a lot of my money and I diversified into various ETFs, and that is my retirement plan.
What's that have to do with anything? Oh, is that a question?
That's the question,
the
dude.
question.
What's your
Yeah.
retirement plan? See, and I was wondering when I read this question, I wonder if he's talking about financials or what are we going to do when we retire?
I mean, I know mine. So I mean, I'll answer both. I'm a disabled veteran, so that's for the rest of my life. And if I die, Leslie gets it for the rest of her life. Probably retire from whatever sustainability company I'm working for at the age of like 50 or 60, and then live off of disability and hopefully UBI if the government gets fixed by then. I don't know. And then just play video games and paint Warhammer models until I'm old and dead.
Oh, wow.
Travel a lot as well, I guess.
Yeah, travel and video games. Probably. I mean, I'm really pushing for 55. I would like to be retired in 10 years. I have like potentially residual like income just coming in on top of the 401k that I'm dumping like so much money without my consent. 30% of what I make goes into a 401k on top of like the 5 and the 5 match. So it's a lot. That's a lot that's going into that thing. But yeah, so that should be nice. Plus residual income. I think I can do it at 55. So I'm just going to keep hitting it hard for another 10 years. And then after that, it is video games, working out, and traveling. Yeah.
All right.
If I don't kill myself with my alcoholic drinks that I hate the taste of.
You need a CPAP machine, man. You'll live past 55, I promise.
Yeah, I got to get a CPAP machine.
And we'll talk about it after.
Did you get one?
I have one, dude. I've had one for like 3.5 years, 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Well,
All right.
retirement for me is, I don't know. Everyone says traveling, right? But I feel like when you're old, traveling sucks. Like, I don't know. I want to do my traveling now. I mean, I'll probably travel when I'm older too, but like maybe not as much because I don't want to deal with that when I'm super old.
I understand that so much, dude, because my parents have started to travel and my dad's getting a little slower as far as like physicality goes.
Mhm.
Hey, my mom's like, yeah, we can't walk the streets of Italy for like 9 hours a day, you know, and it's cobblestone roads, and your dad
About
has a
those
cane.
cobblestone.
Yeah, it's
Once
like,
again, bringing me back to we have the best hobby of all hobbies. I could wake up tomorrow with no arms or legs and still make it down to my computer somehow, wiggle my worm way down here, sit in here, hit it with my nose, and get some sort of game playing going on. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I
play
think we have the
Vampire
best.
Survivor.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I feel like no hands kind of limits you on
Yeah,
playing
totally,
video games.
totally.
Bro,
limits
there's
you,
people
but you
that
can
play games
still-
that have
Well, yeah, I know
complete,
they got
like,
machines where you can control with your tongue, but I don't know if that's an option for Emilio.
He's got a huge. They need to make
He needs
a
an
bigger
extra
thing.
big tongue controller.
He needs an
Yeah.
extra big tongue controller.
Yeah, man. I
Looks
don't
like I
know.
have
dude.
3 lips. Look.
Ew.
Oh, we need to lick this podcast clean, folks. We gotta get the old tongue on this. Come on, get to the center of the popsicle here. What are we playing next week?
I want to play, dude. I would like to play more Lethal Company. I saw Rusty Bagel playing some earlier, and I'm like, there's a guy who doesn't fuck around. Like, this guy's not going to
Rusty
be running
Bagel.
into turrets. So maybe I'll hit him up about playing some
You know what's
So,
funny about that is he hit me up while we were playing, and he's like, "Would you recommend this or Void Crew
oh god, I want to play
more?"
that game too.
And I was like, "I think this, dude, just because of the mix of."
Well, dude, everybody's playing this right now. Like,
Yeah.
this is the game to be playing. I
So,
do want to play Void Prism Company.
before I logged off, I felt bad for logging off, so I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, man, Bobby, Nick, Cricket Soldier, they're all playing. Like, this is a prime. They're primed, ready to go. Do you want to jump in?" He goes, "I'm already playing with 4 other cooler people." I'm like, "All right." He ain't
Fair
so
enough.
cool.
First of all, how dare you? I'm cooler than everybody now.
That's true.
You're not cool because you didn't go to DLG. Dude, it was fucking good. It was good.
I wanted to go.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
He's so sad. Next year.
I wanted to go.
Next year.
Next year.
I am playing
Void Crew.
Expanse, a Telltale series, and
I am. Oh, sorry.
I would love to play some on the well because I don't have any week plans.
I got VR games when I go to my sister-in-law's house. It's probably going to be Dark Tide. I mean, not Dark Tide. Gorn, Beat Saber, and I'm going to try to play WoW Classic on my wife's laptop.
I don't know. So tomorrow I have a 14 or 15 or 16 hour shift. A lot of that is downtime. I have my Steam Deck ready and primed. So on there, I have Risk of Rain Returns. I think that's what I'll mostly be playing tomorrow. Other than that, I mean, I am really, as much as I don't like fucking spending a million hours on early access games, I am enjoying Death Must Die. I think it's very good. And Lethal Company is, I feel like that's a new, like, it's like a new Deep Rock Galactic. Just like if, are the 4 of us playing? Let's just play that. So, yep, there
Accessible
we're at.
price point. You're in the Discord or whatever. Duke can get out.
Only 100 sniper dollars.
100 sniper dollars. All right, sign us off, Emilio.
Speaking for Nick, Christian, Bobby, and my snelf, lethal titties, everybody. Good night. I miss Dave.